Thanks, Owen. Newcastle United against Chelsea, two teams fighting for Champions League football, a competition this stadium has been well acquainted with this season, and it is for those and these the biggest games when 10 o'clock kickoffs on Premier Sports. Newcastle beaten by Bournemouth before the international break. A change from that side ahead of Nick Pope in defence as Tino Livramento comes in to replace Lewis Hall, who can't face his parent club. Bruno Guimaraes is back from suspension. 17-year-old Lewis Miley starts again. Isak and Almiron are both past fit to play in attack with Gordon. Three subs on that Newcastle bench, along with 19-year-old Irish defender Alex Murphy. Willock, Longstaff, Burn, Barnes and James's Park is at its most raw and raucous. Just ask Arsenal a few weeks ago, this the site of their only league defeat of this season. It is the premier game amongst the three. All out along with the Bantanali. For Chelsea, Robert Sanchez conceded 4 to Manchester City in that remarkable draw at Stamford Bridge. A tweak in defence as Benoit Badiashile makes his first Premier League appearance of the season after a hamstring injury. Caicedo, late back from international duty, is replaced by France under-21 midfielder Leslie Ukachukwu. The three attacking midfielders, all England internationals now after Cole Palmer's debut. Top scorer Nicholas Jackson is up front. Colwell has recovered to make the bench, but Owen Kunku, Gusto, Chilwell and St James's Park, despite seeing their depleted side here, will raw on their team. It still has a relatively strong 11. Chelsea lost here last season. Newcastle got a draw at Stamford Bridge back in May. And we are up and running. One draw already today in the Premier League between Manchester City and Liverpool. We'll keep you updated on all the scores elsewhere in the Premier League in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. But really our focus had to be here today for this one between two huge clubs.
Be interesting to see Livramento at left back. So often Trippier fills in at that position, but I think you lose so much in terms of what he gives Newcastle going forward with that brilliant quality. And I think also Livramento is probably identified as someone who's got that physical capabilities to deal with the Reece James coming from deep.
Gordon, lovely flick to open up the pitch. And it's into Jamal Lascelles, the Newcastle captain. Handball by Raheem Sterling. We saw in some of the clips earlier, Gary, in fact, Livramento playing at right back and Trippier at left back in the closing stages against Arsenal. Why do you think it's the other way around with that man at right back today?
Well, I think in terms of what he gives you going forward, certainly there's no doubt about that. I think Livramento, as we said, about that running power. But I'll be fascinated to see the battle between Sterling and Trippier. Sterling was fantastic against arguably the best right back in the world. Kyle Walker gave him a real tough afternoon. I expect that he'll be full of confidence looking to do the same here.
Half forward by Trippier. Lascelles trying to win it, and it's hooked away by Enzo Fernandez. Jackson can't nod it on to Raheem Sterling. Badiashile playing on the left side of the two centre-backs. Mauricio Pochettino suspended today after getting a yellow card. He stormed onto the pitch, rather angry with the referee after the draw with Manchester City.
And he talked about needing the 2 weeks of that international break to recover from those games against Tottenham and City. He said he was absolutely shattered, but what brilliant games they were, and certainly he must be so excited with the fact that Chelsea now are amongst the goals, which was ultimately his biggest problem at the beginning of this season.
Big switch by Fernandez out to Reece James, and here's Palmer, dealt with by Joe Linton. Ukachukwu, fine challenge, Palmer into Gallagher. Ukachukwu again. Now out to James. back post. Gallagher had made a run to the near one.
Probably wondering why Sterling has stayed out and not attacked across the front of Trippier.
Almiron, Isak. Support starting to arrive here. Guimaraes back to Alexander Isak. Look, made for a first-time volley, but he's decides against it, the Sweden international.
Guimaraes has got that pass, seen it so often in a Newcastle shirt. That little lofted pass over the top. You initially thought he could have opened his body up for an attack down the left-hand side, but you're right. I expected him to be full of confidence to hit that volley.
Sterling full of confidence too, works it into Jackson. Palmer on the outside, still Jackson. Can't get that shot away, maybe the opportunity was there. An end-to-end early at St James's Park. Almiron inside, good run from Gordon.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم مشاهدينا الكرام. في ملعب الاتحاد في الأسبوع ال13 من الدوري الإنجليزي ستقام قمة الجولة وقمة إنجلترا بين فريق ليفربول ومانشستر سيتي أو مانشستر سيتي وليفربول. في الجولة ال13 سيلتقي صاحب المركز الأول بصاحب المركز الثالث. مانشستر سيتي صاحب المركز الأول برصيد 28 نقطة سيستضيف على أرضه وملعبه ووسط جمهوري فريق ليفربول، الفريق القوي والعنيد صاحب المركز الثاني في الدوري برصيد 27 نقطة. لكن متى موعد هذه المباراة؟ ستنطلق مباراة ليفربول ومانشستر سيتي أو مانشستر سيتي وليفربول في يوم السبت الموافق 25 نوفمبر 2023، وستقام هذه المباراة في افتتاح الجولة الثالثة عشر من الدوري الإنجليزي لموسم 2023-2024. ستنطلق هذه المباراة في تمام الساعة 2:30 بتوقيت مصر، 2:30 ظهرا. أما بالنسبة لهذه المباراة فهتكون مباراة قوية جدا. الفرقتين بيمروا بحالة بدنية وفنية وذهنية رائعة، ولا يوجد في أي من الفريقين غياب، خصوصا أن هذه المباراة هي الأولى لهما بعد التوقف الدولي. شكرا لكم على مشاهدة الفيديو.